Hello everyone, I hope to find you in very great spirits today. In today's video, I wanted to discuss a very brief list of some books that I'm really looking forward to read throughout the year. I hope to give you some inspiration so you can go and pick up some books yourself. Without any other delay, let's get started right now. Shall we? First of all, at the beginning of each year, I really like to have a very small selection, very small pool of works that I'm really looking forward to hit at any time during the year. I consider this very small canon to be my foundation. For the rest, I try to get inspired by current TVR, whether it's my physical or ebooks, but for the most part, I'd really like to start the year with a very small selection of works that I know I am going to read at some point and also compare and contrast with things that I already have in my existing TVR. And one of my first reading goals for the year is absolutely keeping up with my reading of Ursula Le Guin books. If you have not heard of her, she is considered a modern classic American writer in science fiction. And she is a pioneer when it comes to this genre, especially since the 1960s. And last year I had the opportunity to read The Lathe of Heaven, which I believe was published in 71, and The Left Hand of Darkness, which I believe was published in 69. And let me tell you, I was floored. The usage of language, the way that the world is built upon all these sensations, and the ever so changing metaphoric circumstances that she puts her characters in, you are completely immersed into her world, and you just want to keep knowing and knowing what's going to happen. You want to put yourself inside the head of the character so you might experience what this person is going through as well. And for this year, I am definitely reading The Dispossessed, which is a story of two planets that are rivals, and through the eyes of the protagonist, we see all the political issues and manipulation that happens through the use of artificial intelligence. We also see a lot of complexities such as political secession, anarchism, utopian societies, idealism in a way from the inhabitants of these planets that are having issues with each other. And also, at the end of the day, economic evolution. On the other hand, another book that I'm really looking forward to read is The Word for World is Forest, which is meant to be a short book because it was written as a novella and then it was later on published, I believe in the 70s. And in this book, we see a human colony that goes to another planet. And the first thing that they do is enslave the inhabitants. I mean, what else is new? But also, this really pisses off the inhabitants because at the same time, the humans, they come in and they attempt to destroy the ecosystem. So by doing this, they propel a rebellion so they can expel the humans and get rid of them. But at the same time, they have to suffer the consequences of such actions because by interacting with another race that it was completely unknown to them, now they have a lot of emotions and a lot of feelings of the aftermath that they never experienced before, such as anger, rebellion, political unrest. So they have to navigate all of these turbulent waters so they can retake their living again. And from Penguin, there are two books that I'm interested in reading. And the first one is Reading My Mother Back by Timothy Baker and The Miseducation of the Negro by Carter Woodson. And Reading My Mother Back is a memoir where the author discusses his relationship with his mother and how through his childhood books, he finds traces of her. I think it was very appealing, the fact that someone would tell his experiences, his past thoughts through the books that he read in his childhood, I thought it was a very genius way to tell a story. In terms of the miseducation of the Negro, Mr. Woodson here tells us the story of all the things that he went through when he was a teacher and also an activist for the Black community and all the issues that the Black community had at that time. This collection of essays that was compiled as a book and now is being re-released by Penguin. So I'm really looking forward to read that. I am a huge fan of Richard Wright and Dubois, so I never heard of this author before, and I'm always considering getting to know and more acquainted with Black history in the United States. And talking about certain publications and publication houses, something else that I want to keep doing is picking up books from the New York Review Books. If you're not fully acquainted with them, they are a subsection of the New York Times, and they specialize in publishing classics and modern classics from foreign authors that maybe are not very well known in the Americas. So their translations are just fantastic. And sometimes the stories and the specific books that are picked are even out of print. So you really have the opportunity to dig into valuable works that sometimes you never came across to begin with. And the first work that I want to pick is Lies and Sorcery by Elsa Morante. This was published, if I remember correctly, in 1948, since she was an Italian author during World War II. Now, this is meant to be a story of a young woman that was adopted after losing her family. But after a few years, she also loses her guardian. And this sparks a domino effect of a lot of things that take her to a path of trying to recover a lot of the memories that she had with her family. And at the same time, try to discover the hardships and societal abuses that they had to go through and she has to go through. So at the same time, she grows a lot of resentment and she tries to plot her own revenge. And let's see what happens. So far, I've never been disappointed with a book that I have picked from this series, this publication. So I'm really looking forward to dive into that and to see the story. And another title that I want to explore is Telluride by Vladimir Sorokin. It's another dystopia, but the setting seems to be in some kind of feudal society where there's obviously a lot of political contrive. There's also some kind of remedy or drug that is highly available to everyone, and the consequences are not vastly known, but if abused, the drug can kill you, so it can cause death. We find two characters that are moving along a lot of political schemes, and they navigate and they find themselves in all these kind of situations, satirical political situations, and also in a lot of danger. I mean, Sorokin is part of Russian literature. A lot of his books were banned, so I'm really looking forward actually to read this new translation. And talking about historical fiction with a little bit of paranormal and gothic, other books that I also want to approach are by Hester Fox. And I came across her on Kindle, and her books seem to have great reviews. So I want to pick a few up. And the first one that I want to read is A Lullaby for Witches. And this seems to be a gothic-like paranormal story about a young woman that accepts a job offer at a society in Massachusetts. But once she's in the premises, she seems to experience a little bit of hunting by what she believes is a powerful witch of the 19th century that is somewhat related to the relatives of the premises a very, very long time ago. So, in order to discover what happened and what is the real story behind these ghosts and these spirits, she tries to discover all the past lives of the family and this woman so she can find peace for herself and be liberated, but also attempting to release this spirit and try for her to cross over. The second book that I want to read is her upcoming release this spring, which is called The Heir of Blackwood Library. And this is very interesting because I like to collect stories involving libraries or themed around libraries. And this seemed to be about an inheritance of a young woman that she leaves the city, she goes to the new place. This seems to be in the countryside of England. And when she comes to this manor, that it was a former abbey, she finds the behavior of all the people surrounding her to be a little bit strange, and they start cautioning her about not doing certain things and not going to certain places. But when she discovers the library at the manor, she gets completely fascinated. So then she starts really paying attention to the gossip and what the people are saying about some curses and a hidden manuscript. So she sees herself into trying to resolve the issues of the past so she can completely take over of this new property and start making her own memories. And I trust my picks give you some very fun ideas and maybe a lot of inspiration for you to deviate a little bit and pick some new books for yourself. Again, if you have any comments and questions, please make sure to leave them in the comment section below. And as always, I hope you have a great week. Enjoy yourself. And until our next video, happy readings. Bye bye.